Hello and welcome to Cryptic Change. Recently, a very aggressive scam has spread in the crypto scene where you are called up from various countries from someone who claims to be from Coinbase or other exchanges before they try to trick you to give away your login details. But in researching this video, I actually made some surprising discoveries about how these scams works, which also revealed some effective ways of how you can protect yourself against them. And I'll tell you all about it as soon as you hit that like and subscribe button. Now, there are several variations of this same scam, and although they seem to be calling from a range of different countries, a lot of the time it will be from a +44 number, which means it is from Great Britain. And there are also some other common traits, like the fact that they will usually always call within office hours, and also they will usually only call twice from the same number, and if you do not pick up, they will never call 3 times from that same number at least. However, if you were to pick up and do not say anything into the phone, they also will not say anything for quite a while, but will then either hang up and call back up again 1 time from the same number, or sometimes they might also ask for you by your first name. And it is important for them to confirm your first name, because if you were to just say hello, they will always ask for your name without presenting themselves. And if you were then still not to say your own name, they will usually say, "This is John from Coinbase" or something similar, and then ask once again, "Who am I talking to?" And once you have received one such call, it will then be followed by another and another and another over and over again. And the calls will very often come from a whole range of different numbers, which are then burned immediately afterwards so that you can't call them back up again. Not that you would ever want to. And now the interesting thing here is how these scammers have gotten a hold of your number in the first place. And many have speculated that this started to happen after they registered on Coinbase or another exchange. However, I have been in this crypto world for over 7 years now and registered on literally hundreds of various crypto platforms, and yet I have never received any such phone call, which I thought was kind of weird actually, seeing as how widespread this scam has gotten. So why wasn't I affected? So I started to research this a little bit, and I contacted a person who's been working with telecommunications for over 25 years with high level access to all sorts of calling metadata. And when I asked him to look into the scam, he instantly discovered that these scammers are not actually using the database from Coinbase or any such exchange, but that they are using lists from the National Registry of Business Owners. And as I don't actually own a business, this would also explain why I had not been called by these scammers. But to further take this theory to the test, I also contacted a few friends of mine who I know own businesses but are not personally invested in crypto. And what do you know? They had all been called up by this scam. And to further confirm this, I also checked out a Facebook post on a crypto group where tons of people are saying to have been called up by these scammers, and I was able to find that each and every one of the affected were all business owners of some sort, which had their numbers in the official database. And here in Norway, this list can be found at this address, but I'm sure all other countries will have their own versions of such a site where you can check for yourself. So knowing that these scammers are actually calling up business owners also makes it easier to protect yourself against such malicious calls. And there are several ways you can do this. First of all, you should never answer any such strange calls when they start with the number +44. And the reason for that is that these scammers will call up thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of various people, a lot of which will be out of use or just simply no one there. However, the instant you actually pick up, you are automatically marked as an active account and your information will be recycled and sold on to other scammers, and that's why you get more and more of these calls. Now, secondly, and perhaps the most obvious ways to protect yourself against this is just to block any incoming number from +44. And this is of course very simple. However, it is not recommended if you should happen to also do some business with anyone from that country, and also it will not protect you from similar calls from other countries, so this is not the method I would recommend. But another more effective way to stop these calls is not to write down your phone number when you register a new business. And the laws will probably vary from country to country, but in most cases you should at least be able to block your private number from being registered in informational services. Even though businesses are often not allowed to be blocked in this way, you can also contact these informational servers directly and ask them to delete your information. And this is especially important if you own a small business where you also use your private phone number as the main contact. And if this is the case, a way to get around it is to change your phone number into a private account, not associated with your business, just so that you then can make it easier to reserve yourself against telecom sales and similar services, which also means that your number will be on fewer such lists. However, if that all seems much too complicated and you actually want your number listed on these registers anyway, there is also a fourth way to protect yourself, which is even easier than all of the above. And that is simply to install a caller ID app which also supports scammer reporting. And there are several such apps which are totally free, and here in Norway the biggest one is probably 180.no, which you can easily download and install for both Google and Apple Store. And this works so that whenever anyone will call you up from then on, you will see a little pop-up which tells you if this number is to be trusted or not, and you can make an informed decision before you've picked up. And if you live outside of Norway, the same company also have an international version called Telgarder, which is basically the same thing, also free. And what makes these apps so great is that not only do they give you information about who is calling, but they also have a reporting system where users can warn about specific numbers and help others. And as these scammers also like to recycle the numbers they use when calling up, this means that the more you use the app and report about malicious numbers, the better the app becomes. However, if none of these apps are available in your country, there are also some other alternatives like Truecallers or Haya in the US. And some of these might cost money, I actually haven't checked, but they might very well be worth it just to get rid of all these scammers. So I hope this has been helpful to someone out there, because that's all I have for you today, my cryptic friends. Now please remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and do be careful out there.